Most campgrounds give you a picnic table, maybe a little shade, and a great view of your neighbor's sewer hose. But at this campground, your RV might be parked just steps from the Indian River Lagoon. And after seeing this campground in person, we completely understand why people book this place many months in advance. Today we're checking out Long Point Park Campground in Melbourne Beach, Florida. We're Dave and Karen from Watts on Wheels. We roll, we camp, and yeah, we play. Long Point Park sits on a narrow barrier island between the Indian River Lagoon and the Atlantic Ocean. And honestly, from the moment we pulled in, this place already felt different than a lot of campgrounds we've stayed at across Florida. Instead of feeling like rows of RVs packed tightly into a parking lot, the campground feels much more connected to the surrounding water and nature.
Want me to move that table?
Yeah, that'd be good. I'm off the road.
You've got boats launching nearby, shoreline fishing almost everywhere, mangroves, wildlife, and depending on your campsite, some really beautiful lagoon views. This campground is part of an 84-acre conservation and recreation area, so the atmosphere here feels more natural and laid back than many primitive RV resorts. You're not coming here for fancy pools or tiki bars. This place is really about relaxing outdoors, fishing, boating, kayaking, and enjoying the waterfront setting. Long Point Park is located in Melbourne Beach on Florida's east coast. One of the things that makes this location unique is how close everything is. On one side, you have the Indian River Lagoon, and directly across A1A, you've got beach access and the Atlantic Ocean. So within just a few minutes, you can go from sitting beside calm lagoon water to walking on the beach listening to ocean waves. The campground is also close to Sebastian Inlet, which makes this area very popular with boaters and fishermen. And if you need restaurants, groceries, or supplies, Sebastian and Vero Beach are both just a short drive away. Long Point offers a mix of camping styles, including waterfront RV sites, water and electric sites, sewer sites, tent camping, and rustic group camping over on Scout Island. Altogether, the campground has around 160 campsites. Amenities here include showers, laundry facilities, a boat ramp, fish cleaning station, fishing dock, playground, picnic pavilions, volleyball, horseshoe pits, and nature trails. There's also free Wi-Fi throughout the campground. So while this definitely leans more toward a nature-oriented campground, it still has the conveniences most campers are looking for. Now let's talk about the campsites themselves, because Long Point has a very different setup than many campgrounds we've stayed at. One thing we really liked was how detailed the reservation system is. When booking online, you can actually see the dimensions of the campsite, amenities, and even photos of the individual site before reserving. That's really helpful because the sites here vary quite a bit in size, layout, and positioning. In our case, we stayed in Site 46, which was listed online as a 40 by 50 waterfront site. Since we were non-residents staying during prime season, our site ended up costing right around $50 per night. Honestly, for a waterfront site in Florida during peak season, we thought that was pretty reasonable. One thing that makes this campground unique is that there really aren't clearly marked boundaries. So depending on the size of your site and how neighboring RVs choose to park, spacing can feel very different from one site to another. The sites were basically from electrical post to electrical post. In our case, the Class A next to us backed into their site, and since we shared the electrical post, the rigs ended up close together on that side. But our living side, where our entry door and outdoor setup were, we probably had about 60 feet before the next campsite. So while the RVs looked close together from one angle, we still had plenty of usable outdoor space where it really mattered. On the lagoon side where we were, we actually spent most of our time outside. We had a really nice open view and plenty of usable outdoor space. So this is definitely one of those campgrounds where site selection and even parking orientation can make a big difference in your experience. Long Point is definitely popular with the boating and fishing crowd. The campground has a one-lane boat ramp, shoreline fishing access, a fishing dock, and even a fish cleaning station. The aerial footage also shows the bridge leading over to Scout Island. And this area has a much quieter and more natural feel compared to the RV camping area. Scout Island offers primitive group camping along with over a mile of nature trails. It's a nice place to walk, birdwatch, or just get away from the campground for a little while. Wildlife is another big part of the experience here. The park is known for dolphins, and we did see them from our site. Also manatees, shorebirds, otters, and other native Florida wildlife. And because you're right beside the lagoon, you don't really have to go looking for wildlife. A lot of times it just shows up around you naturally. One thing we noticed all around the shoreline were these tiny fiddler crabs. They were everywhere along the lagoon edge, constantly darting in and out of their little burrows. And if you look closely, the males have one oversized claw that almost looks cartoonish. Apparently, one oversized arm is how they impress the ladies. There are a few things campers should probably know before booking Long Point. First, reservations can be very competitive here. Brevard County residents can reserve campsites up to 13 months in advance, while non-residents can reserve up to 6 months in advance. There's also a maximum stay of 14 days per reservation. And like most waterfront campgrounds, there are a few trade-offs. Some sites are more exposed with less shade, wind can become a factor, bugs may depend on weather conditions, and site spacing varies throughout the campground. Even though we were only here for 3 nights, we did manage to squeeze in a little exploring around Sebastian. One evening we headed out to the Tiki Bar and Grill, a rustic waterfront bar located right along the Indian River. It's the kind of place where nobody seems to be in a hurry. Just cold drinks, live music on some nights, and great views of the water. We grabbed a couple of drinks, relaxed for a while, and enjoyed soaking up a little bit of that laid-back Florida atmosphere. After that, we made our way down the road to Mulligan's beach house. We happened to catch happy hour, and between the drink specials and the appetizers, it turned out to be one of our favorite stops during the trip. The food was great, the prices were very reasonable, and the waterfront views didn't hurt either. So, if you enjoy boating, fishing, kayaking, wildlife, waterfront views, nature trails, or just relaxing outside by the water, there's a good chance you'll enjoy Long Point Park, especially if you can score one of those waterfront sites. Now let's see how Long Point Park scored on our campground report card. Thanks for rolling with What's on Wheels. Want to help our channel grow? Hit that thumbs up, subscribe, and click that bell, or we'll come Jeep chasing ya. Hey, and leave us a comment. Even a quick hello makes our day. So roll, camp, play, and maybe fix something, and have a beer.